They gon' try to call you names, label you with things till you're ashamed. You're a sexist or a racist, white supremacist or gay. They'll attack your reputation, claim that you're the one to blame, and try to make you hate yourself for ways that you behave. They're just names, embrace them and they'll never cause you pain. They're just words that another person thought up in their brain. They're just names, they do not define you, that's insane. And they'll just call you something different if you change. Call me racist, I don't make no BLM donations. I can stand with black folks without a branded corporation. All this systemic prejudice, if you live in this nation, you privileged, black or Caucasian. Call me transphobic, but I support you in your policies. I just can't ignore the very basics of biology. All I see is men and women trying to live in harmony, not 100 genders that you wanna be. Call me snowflake, cause I'm offended, I ain't stone-faced. Social justice warriors destroying us with woke ways. Mad because they voted for the POTUS with the most hate. Man, I miss the old days. Call me loser, call me bigot, call me stupid, call me bitter, call me ugly, call me cracker, call me doucher, call me triggered. You can call me what you want, cause at the end of the day, man, they're just names. Go ahead and call us names, dog. Do your thing. We ain't tripping cause we heard it all before. Give a damn about the names, dog. We feel no pain. Your words ain't gonna hurt us anymore. Go ahead and call us names, dog. Do your thing. Y'all are tripping, but I hope you find the Lord. Give a damn about the names, dog. We feel no shame. Call us anything you want, I'm getting bored. They gon' try to call you names, label you with things till you're ashamed. Repeat it till you really start believing what they say. They gon' stamp it on your forehead and scream it till you break. They love to say they woke, they not awake. They're just names, afraid of anyone who ain't the same. So they classify your thoughts as controversial, not okay. Then they cancel you till everything you have all gets erased. They trying to tell the world you bad, they're just names. Call me conservative or liberal, Republican or Democrat. I'm somewhere in the middle, but y'all don't know what to do with that. The system got you so obsessed with classifying right or left. You never call a person human, call them names instead. Call me sexist. Men run the world cause they're aggressive, but behind every man there's a woman just as successful. We will never be equal in every way, that ain't helpful. Our differences are why we're great together. Call me white devil, I know you think the system favors me. My privilege is residual benefits from the slavery. Subconscious prejudice embedded in the system made for me. Don't mean I never struggled to survive, I guess we ain't agree. Ignorant and jaded, call me dumb, uneducated. Call me idiot or redneck or delusional or crazy. Call me anything society has taught you to say. Cause at the end of the day, they're just names. Go ahead and call us names, dog. Do your thing. We ain't tripping cause we heard it all before. Give a damn about the names, dog. We feel no pain. Your words ain't gonna hurt us anymore. Go ahead and call us names, dog. Do your thing. Y'all are tripping, but I hope you find the Lord. Give a damn about the names, dog. We feel no shame. Call us anything you want, I'm getting bored. Your sticks and your stones might break my bones, but your words don't hurt. So give me your words. Stupid, loser, ugly, poser, moron, liar, crazy, loner. Go ahead and call us names, dog. Do your thing. We ain't tripping cause we heard it all before. Give a damn about the names, dog. We feel no pain. Your words ain't gonna hurt us anymore. Go ahead and call us names, dog. Do your thing. Y'all are tripping, but I hope you find the Lord. Give a damn about the names, dog. We feel no shame. Call us anything you want, I'm getting bored.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Second Amendment Ranch. As always, I'm Carl, I'm Cameron, that's Carl, and that's Wally. Y'all have a good night. I'll see y'all next week here on the Second Amendment Ranch. Hey,
I knew he was going to have a bad day.
Hey, don't look at me. Wally said I could go to bed early tonight, so
No, I did not.
I had to do the intro, and we watched the music, so I'm off to sleep now.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you're so full of shit. Kind of. Bed's right there. Gunny's already making a good use out of it.
I'll bet he
That's
is.
the only one that's gonna.
Dirty bastards. I'm being held hostage. My safe word is pineapple juice.
Okay.
You haven't said it yet.
What do we mix with it?
I didn't hear you.
Deaf bastard. All right, Carl. So I want to start off with a headache for everybody. Everybody that has ever purchased a firearm before. No, my headache's down here.
My headache's over there.
But I get you
My
viewers.
headaches are right here.
I get you viewers and you know it, so you can't get rid of me just yet.
Where are they at? We only got 7.
Now they're coming, kind of.
Did you share it out? Or do I fire you again?
It's been a minute since I shared it out.
Okay.
I'm hoping that it'll grow because they share it, because every time I share it, I get banned from somewhere. It does every time I share. Hey, you can't post that here, so bye. Okay, bye.
Before we get started, one thing. What's the temperature where you're at, Cameron?
It was 104 today.
What is it right now? I always put him on the spot. He's got to look something. Wally, you better find your temperature so you're ahead of
Right
him.
at the bottom left of my screen.
Okay.
Currently 84 degrees, but it feels like it's 92.
Okay.
So it's
Wally,
92 degrees.
It is 92 here, and it feels like... Yeah, I'm loading it right now. It feels like 98.
and it is 95 here right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's been hot.
It was 108 yesterday.
Travis, who's been banned, suspended, and deleted? How you doing, Travis?
Crap. All right, so now that we got a lot of viewers, all of y'all get the headache. So in the comments, I want everybody to put a little hand emoji or just a thumbs up, exclamation mark. How many of us have ever purchased a firearm? Or if you don't, I'll phrase it this way. How many of us have ever had to deal with the process and paperwork of purchasing a firearm? I have. Don't lie, Carl.
All the firearms I ever bought, I had never had to do paperwork.
Lucky you.
That's before all this other crap started.
So I'm gonna give y'all a second to yeah, it did rain a little bit here, Lorna. So yes, I've dealt with it before. And one of the questions is, have you ever been diagnosed with depression?
Yeah.
Right there off the bat. Well, there is Representative John Curtis has introduced a bipartisan bill with Representative Pramila Jayapala, Democrats from Washington, to address gun suicides by allowing individuals to involuntarily put themselves on a do not sell list for firearms. That list doesn't do diddly shit. The only reason you're going to have that list is if you put your name on that list voluntarily, you will never get off of that list. That's the only reason Democrats are going to do anything like that. You put yourself on it voluntarily so you can't buy a firearm because you were sad. Now when you go and file for a new firearm, hey, I took my name off this do not sell list. One of the first questions that's asked have you ever been diagnosed with depression or have you ever had suicidal thoughts? Okay, well, they're going to see that red flag. Well, you put yourself on the list, so obviously at one point in time, you were sad enough to say, I can't safely own a firearm because I'm going to myself. It's the only reason it exists. This goes to show you right here, the people trying to pass these bills have absolutely no idea how purchasing a firearm even works. They don't know there's already background checks. They don't know that you have to have your fingerprints done for anything that's a destructive device, suppressors, anything that could be considered a Class 3 firearm, fully automatics, anything like that. The only thing that you do not have to do that for is anything fully automatic ban or whatever bill ban, which the only firearms that are fully automatic were created before that you can purchase are 1984. So if you have anything older than that, it can be fully automatic. The problem is when they sell these guns, they're about $10,000, $12,000 easily. That's the low side. If you want to get anything else, if it's more modern, you have to jump through so many rabbit holes. Ask me how I know.
Because you tried.
That doesn't surprise me. So Chad down here in the comments says, It's just the beginning. They're trying to make it to where everyone will fail the mental health test.
Exactly.
That's right. Everybody would fail a mental health test immediately. You do realize that high schoolers took a mental health study back in 2007, and they were showing the same stress levels as inmates in an asylum in the 60s. Yeah. So no, nobody would pass this mental health. We all live in a state of hate life and F this and that and screw you. That's what we live in constant. We are jellyfish controlled, skeleton bodied, protected with meat with anxiety. That's what human beings are. Look at your nervous system. It's a brain with a lot of little tentacles. Jellyfish. Piloting a skeleton suit utilizing muscles to move the armor. Filled with anxiety. Not one person would pass that mental health study.
Darius wanted to know what a mental health test was.
So, a mental health test for us here in the States, Darius, is basically, and it depends on what you go and do. I've had to have 3 psych evaluations in my life. No, I'm not going to reveal what for. No, I'm not going to give you the results. But they can be one of 2 things that I have seen. They can be a written test, or they can be an interview with a psychologist. And either way, their job is they're going to ask you redundant questions phrased in multiple different ways to make it seem like you have some kind of mental disability. That's their job. They're trying to trick you because they know everybody lies. You don't want to come up on a test and say, yeah, I've got depression. Ta-da. You don't want to do that. Most people don't want to do that. Anxiety? Okay. Maybe autism a little bit. There's some, they've used some worse than others over here. But it's a trap to get people to basically admit they are worse than what they are.
Right.
Now, I have had one in my life that was actually like, it's good. Like, it makes sense how it works. It's not trying to trap you. It's not trying to trick you, but it expects you to be honest. That's where the civilian side comes in play. They want to trick you and make you give an answer that you don't want to give out. But that's their whole purpose. They're trying to do an evaluation of you either by an in-person interview or on a piece of paper. And then they're going to review those, and they're going to review their notes and go, yep, going by the book, he has bipolar disorder, multiple personality disorder, depression, anxiety, PTSD, ADHD, ADD. They're going to put everything that their notes says that you might have, or that test views that you have. So that's how they do it here in this. It's not to help you at all. Because as soon as you get done with it, they send you on your merry way. That's it. You take the evaluation, you go on with life. You get no help. You get no treatment. You get a letter in the mail saying, here's your diagnoses. Thanks. Where do I go from here? Oh, that's on you to figure out. Good luck.
Yeah.
Huh? Shit. Okay. I mean, I knew it was a little off, but damn. That's what it is. Hopefully that clarifies some stuff for you. They suck. They're not fun. They're a waste of about 3 hours of your life. Yeah, 3 hours. Those are the normal ones. The military one is, you got like 15 minutes to fill this out. Go. Huh? Yeah, go. Ugh. So that's how that works out. But continuing on with this bill, the Preventing Suicide Through Voluntary Firearm Purchase Delay Act mirrors an already existing Utah law that allows individuals to voluntarily restrict themselves from purchasing and possessing firearms. But according to Jacob Dunn, manager at the Utah Bureau of Criminal Identification, only 5 people in Utah have ever utilized the program since it was implemented. While that number may seem small, Representative Steve Ellison, Republican from Sandy, who passed the Utah law, said maybe it saved 5 people's lives. He added he was encouraged to hear anyone was taking advantage of it. He also noted that the program hasn't been running that long and believes the current process is onerous. Currently, Utahns, that's how they say with their crap, Utahns. UTAHNS. Man, y'all, Utah, y'all got to call y'all self something better. That's ridiculous. Utah. Like, way to try and be Texans, but it doesn't work with Utah. Jesus. Who would like to restrict their access to firearms have to print out a form found on the Bureau's website and draw it off at any Utah law enforcement agency. Keep that in mind. So you have to get it from the government, then you have to turn it back into the government. So you really think if you voluntarily give up your right to possess firearms, that they are going to give it back? Ellis said he will be running the bill to the next legislative session to streamline the process to make it more accessible. In 2021, the Utah legislature passed a bill and implemented a program for individuals to voluntarily restrict themselves from purchasing or possessing. Ellison also sponsored Utah's legislation, said after national tragedies like mass shootings, the talking points are all about firearms or it's all about mental health. He said Utah law and Curtis bill is the fusion of addressing gun violence and mental health. What I would like to know, they found out 53% of people have guns in Utah, which I guarantee is a lie. It's more than that. But what I would like to know, and it didn't unfortunately say, is did the 5 individuals that voluntarily turned in their rights and liberties, because it's not like fishing, they just stole that shit. Driving is the one exception, because driving wasn't, it's not a right. You have to earn the ability to drive on the roads with other people. Like, you're a walking idiot the second you come out the womb. No offense to everybody else, but you're. Everybody, my brother's driving instructor said everybody on the road next to you is a booger-eating idiot, which is why we have to go to classes and everything like that. Second Amendment was not viewed as an earned privilege. It was a right and liberty because everybody had the right to own firearms, and that still stands true. Yes, I do think more people, because of the times have changed, do need to take schools for this, but that does not remove the rights and liberties of you, the people, and we, the people, to own firearms ever. I think it's ridiculous we have to pay for fishing licenses. If you want to have specific tags for a fish, by all means, go pay for those tags. That's on you, Carl.
We will some other time, Darius. Tonight, after Cameron gets talking, I've got something to show on here.
Okay. So I want to know if those 5 individuals that voluntarily turned in their rights and liberties ever got them back. Ever.
I doubt it.
Because I doubt, one, I agree with both of you. I highly doubt it. 2, if a person actively wants to commit suicide, this is going to get a little dark here in a second, and I apologize in advance. But that's why we do this show before the other show, because this show's kind of to beat you up a little bit, make you angry. The next show is to make milk shoot out your nose. If somebody actively wants to commit suicide, there is not a damn thing that will stop them. Here's the example I received when I went to the Navy. It is a bleak life on submarines. You have no personal space. You wake up, go to work, you do your job, you go to watch, you do everything, you're in bed. There's not a lot of socializing. There's not a lot of time for games and privileges. There's not a lot. There's movies every now and again. That's it. My chief of the boat comes up to me after he had brought me on. Now, this chief of the boat took me from another boat because that boat was causing a lot of problems with me. And he brought me down and he said, look, if you ever have a problem, you need to talk to some of your shipmates. I don't care who. And if they don't want to talk to you, you let me know who you tried to talk to. We'll be having a conversation afterwards. And I'm like, what are you talking about, Cobb? Like, look, I've had a lot of experiences working on submarines, some of which I never thought of. I had a shipmate when I was in E4. Went down in missile compartment lower level. I can reach up and touch the ceiling with my hand like this. It's not a good reach. Shipmate put a put a belt around his neck, wrapped it around the piping that was sitting about face level for me. Face level, standing. They said they found him when he didn't complete his rounds when he was taking his watch. Somebody got curious, so they sent a roving. Where's the other roving watch? We don't know. So they sent another rover. They found him with his toes digging into the plates on the deck, his knees bent, blue as could be.
Yep.
All he had to do was stand up.
Yep.
That was it. All he had to do was stand up, and he would have been breathing again. If somebody actively wants to kill themselves, there's not a damn voluntarily turning in your firearms does not jack nor shit. Talking to somebody, pulling somebody aside, texting somebody, hey man, I haven't heard from you in a bit. How you doing? Let's go get a beer. You know, men are supposed to have a mental health month. Supposed to, but every time of year that comes around, we get bashed and berated, and transgenderism is belittling us, saying men don't need a month. Feminists are saying fathers don't need Father's Day. Men don't need mental health days. Suck it up and tough it out. Just like our fathers and our fathers' fathers before them told us. Suck it up. Be a man. Move on. That doesn't work. You know, men commit suicide 4 times more often. Women attempt suicide more times than men. But they're going for pills, toaster in the dryer. They're going for stuff that's going to fail. You know, every piece of electronic equipment in modern houses has a GFIC built into it. Or the house has one built in, so as soon as it senses moisture, it shuts it off immediately. So women actively attempt suicide. Yes, Darius, unfortunately, you said it the right way. Men are just better at it.
Travis, this is Cameron.
Hi, Travis. So men are also the highest grossing individuals that fail schools, diet jobs. I think it's something like Darius, don't you even start. I mean, it's something like 98% of men die at their job versus 2% of women. More men are incarcerated. Men don't have, from the day we come out and we hit puberty, we're told, suck it up, be tough. You know, when I had my injury, you know what my mom said to me? I'll never forget this. This is why I don't open up to my parents. You need to stop faking it and get back to work so you can go make money and pay your bills. Mind you, my sister-in-law had already told them that I couldn't walk when she picked me up. They already had witness testimony stating he can't freaking move. I don't think he's faking it. 2 x-rays and an MRI later, and I've got 4 doctors asking me how the hell did I get to the office, their office that day. Said I drove. No, how did you get in the building? I walked. What do you mean you walked? I walked from my truck into your door. You shouldn't be able to walk right now. Every man is told, be tough.
Right.
And there's so many quotes and so many people trying to advocate for it, but a lot of the people that are advocating for it are just wanting to do it for clout and views and everything. Why don't you go actually do something? Why not sit down with somebody that's being quiet? Why not try and interact with somebody that seems like they're a little off? How about this? Why don't you go volunteer for the veteran suicide hotline? The suicide hotline gets people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you go talk to a veteran? You really want to wake up? Listen to some of their stories. I don't have many of those horror stories. I really don't. But I've heard enough. And I've lost, over the past 4 years, I've lost 3 brothers. So stop talking. Why do you think I open my Discord for everybody? And I'm not one of those guys that's just, me and Wally have actively been playing our games in the Free Speech, Free Stupidity Discord. We share that Discord left and right.
Every day we're in there basically gaming, and I mean, we're in the joinable channel. We're not even in the host channel. that's
Yeah.
locked to everybody. We're in there for you guys that need someone to talk to. Because you know what? I've had friends that actually just checked out.
Darius,
And
currently we're playing Ark.
and the other day, I'm not like the other day, but when I found out about someone just the other day, I would be talking to them and they'd seem 100% fine. And
Look, so I'm happy you brought that up, Wally. Look at Robin Williams, one of the happiest looking actors of our generation. Always doing something to make other people smile. Always doing something to make other people smile.
Good morning, Vietnam.
And he committed ARK. It's a dinosaur game there, Darius. And the problem, nobody saw it coming. You don't.
No.
So the Japanese predict you have 3 masks. Everybody wears 3 masks. One you show to your friends, or one you show to your acquaintances, one do you show to your friends and family, and one you show to nobody.
Right.
Everybody has 3 faces, which is completely true. We all act different when we're dealing with customers. We all act different when we hang out with our friends and family. Technically, some of us have 4 because I act different around my family. They've watched the show in the past and they're like, that's how you really are? Yes, it is. This is who I am. Because I can't be me around them. I can't. They can't handle it. They don't like tattoos and beard and smoking. I get the smoking part, but still. But we all hide all of our deep, dark little secrets. And every single one of us has secrets and regrets and trauma. Everybody, and people look at PTSD like, oh, you have to be enlisted to get PTSD. No, you don't. Sexual traumatic injuries are also classified as PTSD. If you get raped as a woman or a man, y'all do realize men get raped more often than women because men are afraid to say something because they'll feel emasculated.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know that little fact. And this push for equality, we've had equality for a while. Now we're putting, you need to have more women as CEOs and everything. Are they qualified? I don't care what gender you are, what race, what's your nationality, religion. Can you do this job? Can I trust you to be put in this position and do it responsibly? Some of these pushes make no damn sense. And the fact that men get 1 mental health month, I left. So I'm on TikTok. I blocked one of the people I thought was one of my favorite TikTokers because he made this statement. Y'all don't need to be bashing on transgenderism and LGBTQ as veterans. Y'all get a whole month, and we're only trying. No, that's not true. We get 2 as veterans. We get 2 days. We get 2 damn days. One of them is to celebrate that we served and that we're alive. Only one of them am I ever happy on. The other one, I am drinking for reasons.
Right.
Memorial Day is not a happy day. I hate the phrase Happy Memorial Day pisses me off. My parents stopped calling me because I told don't call me on Memorial Day. Veterans Day is fine. And they asked why. Because I've known enough veterans who have off themselves. Veterans, people that were out away from the shit. We get 2 damn days, and we give Black History Month. We have the Gay Month. You know, when Mother's Day comes around, we're praising every mother out there. Bravo, you're such an empowered woman raising these kids all by yourself. What about the single fathers out here? The ones that had to fight tooth and nail for their kids, getting evidence upon evidence. I have a coworker who just got full custody of his kid. Just got it. His mom. I bet his baby mama. It's real easy to tell she's on quite a few different things. He had to get months of evidence of her using and abusing drugs, failure to show up to pick up the child on her scheduled weekends. But a mother says, I want custody. Here you go. But I have one of the most heartbreaking videos I have seen this month is a man outside an abortion clinic beating on the door because they locked him out because he was crying, asking the mother of his child not to take away his baby from him.
Yep.
You could hear the pain in this man's voice, begging every god under whatever religion you believe in, please don't kill my child. Please don't kill my child. She went and did what she wanted to do. We don't get a say in that. My body, my choice, right? What if that father wants custody? Now, I do agree. There are certain reasons why I can justify an abortion. Mother's life takes priority. Rape cases, that child will be a walking PTSD trigger for that mother. Those are the only two reasons I have yet to be able to fathom. As a man, mind you, as a man, don't get pissed off at me that those were the only two reasons.
Right. Hey, it's time for the gun pill.
Well, you've got a request, Carl and Wally. Darius down here wants you to be the devil's advocate.
I know. Like you was talking about, the women out there and men, right? And PTSD. You can be in a car accident and remember seeing what's coming at you. That's PTSD. Everything like that. Military, anything that happens out here. These people all need help and reassurances on it. Now, the women with children, a lot of them out there, that's why this abortion crap in this country is now down to all the individual states, right? And that's where the people's got to get out and vote. Not like the idiot group we had on another show that was ready for the fight before we even got into the show.
And Darius, I apologize. It's very hard to argue the points that I've made with suicide, abortion. You can be the devil's advocate, but these are topics that all three of us feel very, very strongly on. Very like-minded when it comes to these. It is. I know it's not hard for you, but we've worked with each other a long time. We've always had
it's hard to get over the 22 a day. And we know it's more than that, but that number is stuck around for years. The 22 a day of veterans
when COVID
take their lives every day.
When COVID peaked, the number was at about 50 a day. That's 50 veterans every
I would say now on the average it's in the 30s.
So it's challenging for any one of us to turn around and like how strongly we feel about these topics. I used to have a co-host. He reached out to me recently. I'm wondering what's going on there. But he loved playing the devil's advocate, Carl. That should tell you exactly who it is right there.
Yeah, I know.
He loved playing the devil's advocate. He would be great for this. He would have been perfect to be the devil's advocate for this. But how do we put a positive spin on suicide? The only all right, so I can, if you have a dark sense of humor. Why is suicide illegal? Because the government doesn't want to lose its taxpayer.
That's exactly right.
That's why. That's the only term ever that I have heard somebody try and put a positive light on suicide.
There should never be a positive light put on suicide.
No. I can't just abortion.
Once you put the positive light on, you put it into minds of several other people.
Oh yeah, you spread that like a wildfire. That's the
wrong message. I mean, I've seen it in high school suicides. They have the big funeral. They have all this, and the preacher or whoever's doing the ceremony will mention the suicide. I'm like, leave that part out of it. Bless their life, and accept it. But to sit there and talk about it And then when you're done talking about it, they don't have anybody there to talk to kids about suicide. That's what bugs me the worst. Yes, that's what we are told.
There's loopholes.
But anyway, if we can get into the gun fail, and then after that, we'll get back to the Second Amendment deal that I got to show you.
Hey, Darius, send me that question in Discord. I'm going to have to do some research on that. That's got me curious on it now.
What's that?
Does religion take effect in suicide attempts? I'm sure it does to an extent.
It does say something about it in the Bible. I'm not for sure exactly what it says in everything is if you take your own life, you're not accepted into heaven.
Actually, it says if you take a life, you're not accepted into heaven, if I remember right.
Well, when you take your life, you took a life.
Yeah. So Wally here actually got gun fail for this week.
Oh.
Okay, wait a second.
We're not getting into it. We're not getting into it because it's religion. I don't like talking about religion. You go into a really bad loophole if you go Google suicide, the Bible about suicide, and pull up the Bible.
Okay, Darius, watch what you're saying down there in the comments because other people on Twitch see those last 3 comments. You see what I'm talking about, Cameron?
He's trying to explain something, but
I know, but you see what else he's talking about.
But he was talking about he's trying to explain something. It's not so much.
I know
that should have been better phrased into one thing because if you pull that out of context, knowing Darius and talking to him, I don't think he's here for bad reasoning.
He's not. I understand why he put it in here, but that's not what this show is going into.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine. We understand.
That's no problem, Darius. No problem at all. I understand where you're coming from about that talked in the Bible, but there'll be other shows on the network that you can talk that into. Okay? Anyway, Wally's got a gun fail for us.
Yeah, I'm going to close this link because otherwise I'm going to start delving into it. And
I know you are.
Yeah, that's okay. So Wally actually provides us for the gun fail this week. He was kind enough to share it with me, but since he found it, he has to talk about it.
Well, this individual, in my opinion, needs to go get some proper training on how to hand.
Where's it at?
I don't know. People are messing with things, I think. I blame Carl at this point.
I was changing my batteries now.
I'll get this mic out. Be good.
I ain't scared of that. I got it turned down.
But
this individual, I think, needs to go get some really good training. As we can see just in this spot right here, I'm a little concerned on how he's holding that.
Okay, so since you're bringing it up, what about it? This is perfect for you. I'm really happy you found the gun fail, Wally, because this gives me the ability to spread my education with other people. So now I get to quiz you. What is wrong with how he is holding this firearm?
Well, in this picture I'm looking at, he's holding it straight up in the air.
That's
don't know what.
So skeet shooting. That's not.
It could be skeet shooting. He's not properly placing it on his shoulder for a shotgun. I believe that is.
So where should you be? Prop up a little bit, man. I love training. I love training people when it comes to safety, when it comes to firearms, when it comes to rigging. I'm very enthusiastic about these things. So having somebody else take over my role for a day, I'm like, holy shit, let's see what he's learned. Oh, I'm so happy about this. So where should a shotgun properly be placed on a human being firing it? With this model of shotgun, obviously they're sawed off.
I'm going to move my camera up one. just so I'm not blocked by the Second Amendment Ranch logo down there.
Well, thanks a lot. I'll remember that.
So
That's why it's me and Cameron down there.
I
Oh.
Got him.
Oh.
Oh.
Shit.
Go ahead, Wally.
all right. So I was properly taught when I was a young boy, when you're holding a rifle, etc., or a shotgun, you should be placing it in to your shoulder area. And
Show us.
how would you like me to show that?
So, all right, use me. All right, I've got a very prominent shoulder. You can see my armpit right here. So, what I want to carry that shotgun in line with my armpit line right here. Would I want to come in more? Would I want to go down more towards my bicep? So you've got options. Dead center.
I would
Up.
say in more towards your bicep area.
So you want to carry it down here.
No, I mean chest area. Sorry.
So you want to have it up here.
Mm.
You'd be right. Because what's
Okay.
the problem if you put the shotgun on this area?
You're potentially gonna dislocate your shoulder.
Exactly. You can dislocate your shoulder. The next problem is it can go into your armpit if you're doing a lot of shots real quick, rapid fire. That can slip down. So now you've lost control of your firearm. Now there is a method to hip fire a shotgun where you tuck it into your elbow and lock it in with your body. It's not the most effective, but it is a trained method.
Mm-hmm. At this point, he's about ready to potentially blow out his bicep right there. In my mind. Depending what he's shooting.
You're true. Depending on what he's shooting, you can greatly damage the tendons in the bicep. You can also tear the bicep muscles. You can cause blood clotting depending on how much trauma you cause to that area.
And on top of it, he does not have much control over this at all.
Yeah, you can see he's got a really weak. He's trying to be loosey goosey.
Mm-hmm. But we will go ahead and
Look where
let you guys
his
see this.
other hand is at.
Technically, that other hand is in a appropriate position.
Not on the barrel.
That's actually when you watch professional shooters, when they're holding their barrel, their hand is actually coming over top because they have raised sights. For a shotgun, it actually looks like he's holding it like a hot dog.
Right, but he's not holding it on the rest. He's holding up around the barrel.
No, that's the
rest.
That gun he's shooting right there, that's a youth shotgun.
Oh, yeah, he's not holding on to rest then.
You can see it. That rest would have to be that long.
That's
okay. Well, we'll be able to see how long that rest actually is by the end of the video.
Oh, very much so.
Let's see what we got.
Oh, it's a double barrel. That's why.
Can you slow that down?
Yes, I can. I hope. Yes, I can.
Let's go with 0.75. Let's go here a little further back. A little further. A little further.
A little more.
All right.
There.
So no, his hand was actually on.
His hand was on that rest.
Yeah, his hand was actually on the rest. So his hand was in a good position, but he was holding it.
It didn't look like it.
It didn't. You're right. It didn't. But because it was a double barrel shotgun, it's shorter than your regular pump action shotgun.
Right.
Because his hand was right about here. Okay. He was right up on the end of it.
When he's standing there, you couldn't tell that was a double barrel.
No.
I didn't even know it was a double barrel to this point.
All right, Wally, back it
up. And the idiot pulled both triggers.
That's definitely, yeah. Back it up, put it back to full speed, and let's watch Sleeping Beauty go night-night.
That just hit him right in the face.
Yeah, he ain't walking too good.
No.
He did continue playing it, Wally. So the good thing is he was smart enough to go and hand over the shotgun before he eats it.
Yeah, and he's down.
Oh, he's done.
He's done.
Yeah, man.
He's probably thinking, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have pulled.
He probably felt like Mike Tyson hit him.
Yeah.
Good on you for trying, Hoss.
Good on you.
But
Next
your
time, only
buddy-
pull one of the triggers.
No, you can pull both triggers. I'm fine with that. But shoulder it right.
Yes.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Pulling both triggers like that will end up with this result really quickly. There is a method to actually hip fire a shotgun, but I've only been taught it in the Navy and we never actively used it. My biggest problem was whenever I shoulder fired with the shotgun, I kept shooting the dummies in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've got to shoot center mass. I'm trying. You're hitting him in the face. I can see I'm hitting him in the face. Is that not a good thing? He's dead. No, we trained to shoot center mass. I'm like, okay, let me get a little more awkward and uncomfortable.
Okay, are you ready for some Second Amendment information up here in the state of Missouri?
Let's see it, Carl.
You know, we got the Second Amendment Preservation Act up here in the state. This is going to be a story about two of our politicians, and we've had them both on a show on this network. So, you're going to hear from the Missouri Firearms Coalition. So, watch this.
Hi, guys. Aaron Dorr here with the Missouri Firearms Coalition with an update for gun owners in northwestern, north central Missouri, House District number 2. It's this area up here up against the Iowa border, Worth and Harrison counties, and then going south, Grundy County, Davies County, and Caldwell County. Again, that north central, northwestern corner here in Missouri. A lot of questions about this race from our members. Now, first, just kind of a recap as to what we do and how we do it. As a non-for-profit organization, we're never going to tell you who to vote for. We can't do that. But instead, our job is to give you guys the information you're looking for to make an informed decision on who is going to fight for our gun rights in Jefferson City. We do it through a variety of ways. We combine all of our working knowledge about the candidates, especially if they're an incumbent, and we also use a very detailed candidate survey program. We ask the candidates the same questions. It's 10 questions. It's not very complicated. No double negatives, because the issue here is not complicated. Either you support freedom or you oppose it. Either you've got courage or you're a chicken. Either you're going to fight to pass freedom or you're going to bow to Rhino Party leaders once you're safely elected into office. And so we put a lot of effort into this program, and our report for you guys is going to draw a contrast that is worthy of mentioning to our members. That's why we're engaging in this race with this informative video. So we're going to begin with Randy Railsback. I got to be honest, before I even break this down, I got to be honest. When I first heard about this race, I asked my support staff, I said, are you sure there's an incumbent here? Because I'd never heard the name Randy Railsback in my life. In my entire working time in Jeff City, I've never seen Randy Railsback. I've never bumped into Randy Railsback. Didn't even know he was in the building, but he has been for 2 years. And that's a concern. I'll just say that. When Republican candidates are in office, they're elected into office, and they never step up to the plate, they never rise to the occasion and fight for freedom, that's a concern. That's a concern to MOFC members in these districts. But in this case, Randy Railsback is refusing to fill out his candidate survey. Now, a candidate survey does not give you the complete and final picture on a candidate every time. And sometimes candidates who survey will go on to break that promise down the road. Rare, but it happens. But in our experience, when a candidate refuses to fill out their candidate survey, that almost always tells us that that's part of that Rhino moderate class who is preparing to stab us in the back if elected, and the last thing they want to do is to be caught in a written lie. And so instead, they refuse to do candidate surveys, and they just keep saying, I'm pro-gun, I'm pro-gun, I'm pro-gun at every candidate forum. So again, it's a very big concern to us that Randy Railsback has refused to fill out his candidate survey. And it's interesting to us in particular that we found out that Randy Railsback is going around the district telling everybody that he was one of the leading drivers, one of the leading authors, one of the leading guys who passed the Second Amendment Preservation Act in Jefferson City last year. And I mean, it's hilarious to me because our organization did help write the bill. We've been involved in that fight for multiple years. We were there in committee testifying on behalf of the bill. We've been there in court ever since the governor signed it. We were there when the governor signed it, been in court to defend it ever since that time. At no point before or during that fight for SEPA, and dang sure not afterwards, at no point have we seen or heard from Randy Railsback. But apparently, if you ask him, he's one of the leading guys who delivered SEPA here in Missouri. Now, they say imitation is the highest form of flattery, but when it comes to our freedom, when it comes to our absolute right to defend ourselves, for a legislator who has done nothing to advance the bill, to claim that he authored the bill, that is the kind of hypocrisy that we have to call out, and we're going to do that in this video here today. And finally, Randy Railsback, besides not surveying and doing nothing to help pass SEPA, the guy has never sponsored a gun bill in his entire time, 2 years in Jefferson City. You know, normally when a candidate tells you how pro-gun they are, which he's doing right now, normally those candidates will have sponsored a variety of gun bills. They will have led in the fight for freedom. They'll have done things that are tangible, right? And they can point to that record and say, here's where I fought for you. You can go online and look it up for yourself. Randy has never sponsored a gun bill. In fact, he's sponsored about 6 bills total that we can see in Jefferson City so far. So a lot of claims, a lot of false claims, but never been involved in the fight for the Second Amendment. And Randy Railsback is refusing his candidate survey. So what that means is that we don't know how he would vote on a future Republican-backed red flag gun seizure bill. We don't know how he would back on a future Republican-led effort to repeal portions of SEPA. It's always being talked about here in Missouri. We have no idea how he would vote on other issues like universal background checks or magazine limits. We don't know because Randy won't answer his survey. The question you have to ask as a gun owner in HD2 is why? Why would he hide it? That's a good question. You should ask him that. Moving on to Maisie Boyd. Now, Maisie Boyd worked in the Trump White House for a number of years. She then worked for Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene out of Georgia, and she came back to Missouri to run in this seat. Now, Mazzie was one of the first candidates, if not the first candidate here in Missouri, to complete her MOFC candidate survey, and it was a 100% pro-gun survey. Every question up and down the line, 100% pro-gun. Mazzie has promised in writing to oppose any attempt to ban AR-15s or 30-round magazines. She will oppose any attempt to pass red flag gun seizures. Now, after the federal gun control bill Biden passed just last month, this is a real threat. Because again, the feds are now going to bribe red states with $750 million in federal money, and they're going to give them some of that money as a bribe if they pass red flag laws. Make no mistake, there are rhinos in Jeff City right now who would love to pass red flags and get their hands on that free government money. Maisie will be opposed to that in any context in which red flags comes up. 100% opposed to universal background checks. Not a question for her. It was an immediate answer. She'll always vote no. Maisie supports SEPA legislation. We are going to continue to see efforts in Jeff City to repeal portions of SEPA law. We saw it this year. It's going to keep happening. Maisie's 100% opposed to any attempt to weaken SEPA. And I will say that Maisie came down to Kansas City to the federal courthouse recently to show support for SEPA when the DOJ came into town with their 10-person team trying to roll back SEPA law in federal court. When you add this up, the survey, her work in the Trump White House, her work for Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, Maisie Boyd is a fighter who is going to actually fight and lead the fight for the Second Amendment here in Missouri. That is what this story adds up to. The survey, the history, the passion, her showing up at the courthouse. These are the things that we want to see from candidates who profess to be pro-gun. So Maisie Boyd, 100% pro-gun on her survey. Every issue we asked her up and down the line, she was rock solid. We're happy to acknowledge that. If you see Maisie on the campaign trail, thank her for her strong pro-gun position. If you see Randy, you need to ask Randy Railsback, why'd you never sponsor a gun bill when you were elected? Why are you claiming fake credit for SEPA when the guys who got it done said they'd never even heard your name, never saw you in committee, never saw you fight on the floor, never saw you in the courthouse to defend it? Why do you claim all this fake credit when you didn't lead that fight? And why won't you survey? Why won't you survey? Folks, if you see Randy Railsback, ask him those questions. And remember, everyone says they're pro-gun. It's Missouri in a Republican Party primary. If he says, don't worry, I'm pro-gun, then just say, prove it. Answer the Missouri Firearms Coalition survey. Guys, that's what we have for you in this race. Thank you for your attention. Share the heck out of this video. Make sure it's seen far and wide. Get the word out there. And guys, join our fight for freedom here in Missouri today at www.joinmofc.com.
Yeah. So, Darius, I had to mute Carl because he was echoing through the other bit. So
Yeah, I know. It was echoing through my speaker. But what did you think of that?
Ignoring you, he was muted because he couldn't talk while the video was playing. Right. I think they're right, and they're hitting it on the head in the chat talking about the rhino. It's just somebody that claims to be a Republican, but a secret, and that's only in title alone. But as soon as they get it, this man doesn't promote Second Amendment rights and activists. He's going to come through because the bill they were talking about, Biden just signed a bill saying that, yeah, we can do red flag laws. We're looking to put juvie records in for when you want to go and buy a firearm. I mean, right. There's so much new protocols that they're looking to add that is just going to do nothing but hinder law-abiding citizens. Now you look at Governor Newsom modeling his California gun bill after the Texas abortion bill, basically saying that anybody that aids and abets somebody in gun violence, they can sue. Which means if you as a gun retailer in California sell somebody a firearm and they go commit a murder, you're going to get held liable because you sold them the firearm. That's not on him. That's the ATF for not doing a proper background check. So now the problem California is going to run into is every gun manufacturer, detailer, retailer, everybody that they're going to flee in droves. We're already seeing hundreds, if not thousands of people from California coming to Texas, Colorado, Tennessee, Florida, Georgia, all these other red states. My concern is they're going to bring the same political bullcrap and ideologies. Oh, we can change Texas. You can die trying. That you can do.
But talking to Arctic Mule down here, I've known Railsbacks for years. They grew up where I went to high school, and I know the whole family and everything. He supports gun rights, but he's not an activist representing us in the gun rights. He's more for farmers, is what it is. Because I know he's out deer hunting. They have rifles out on their 600-acre farm, different things like that. He's not a real advocate for our Second Amendment. Maisie, on the other hand, comes from a farming family up there. She hunts all the time. She's big. She knows our rights. This state here is leading the fight that every other state needs to get into.
Yeah, I'm
And
still
you know
pissed
that, Cameron. We've
Yeah,
talked about that for
I
many.
know. I'm pissed that Texas isn't doing it.
They need to. You
Why?
look at what
Why
we
is
got
Texas
going.
not like, yeah, you can do? You want a 14.9 SLP? You want an anti-tank rifle? You
The,
want fully automatic?
Darius, you want to know what the Second Amendment is? It's the right to keep and bear arms for every American. That's what it is. And Cameron's going to show you.
Oh, I'm going to show you.
I'm going to show you the right to bear arms. Now, his is bigger and fancier, but mine will kill just as well.
Mine's going to hurt a lot more.
It might for a second or two.
Yeah, that's all it takes. Yours will hurt for a lot longer.
You know. Yeah, we got him. That's the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. And that's what we fight. That's what we created this show for, is to inform people about their rights and that in the future, there could be a Second Amendment shooting range in the state of Missouri.
Actually, the full statement is the right of the people to keep and bear arms. Oh, what the hell was it? Let me actually.
You want to know what it actually says, Darius? Just a second, Cameron. Darius, you read on this screen when I pop both of us down for a second. This is what the Second Amendment reads. Actually, Cameron, hit your camera, stop your camera, and we'll read it. The Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Yeah.
So that's what the Second Amendment is about in our Constitution, in our Bill of Rights.
Which technically it's been getting infringed on for 80s or since the 80s. And now the Democrats are pushing another bill to ban semi-automatic firearms. They passed the 1984 fully automatic firearms bill. Now they're turning around and trying to pass semi-automatic firearms bill 20 years after they tried the previous one. Problem is, if you try and ban semi-automatic firearms, you know how many people own? There are more guns. There's 124.5 firearms per every 100 person per 100,000 people per capita in the United States, which means there are more guns in America than there are people.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about. But folks, it's about time to end this show. We have another show starting in 30 minutes. I know, Cameron. We get on a rant at the end of every show. We used to do a 2-hour show, but now it's an hour-long show.
Yeah, one, the 2 hours seem to go a little long for most people. Two, I was doing 6 hours a week, and I don't have a lot of off time, so it was killing whatever free time I had. So
Right.
We broke this one down. We broke the other one down. We only do an hour, and we found more people are actually staying through for the full hour.
And you will see me about 12 to 15 hours a week on different shows.
I set it up there for him to read this.
No, this show is going to be ending here in a little bit. The next show, Darius, come back next week on the Second Amendment Ranch, and we'll discuss some of those items.
Yeah. The problem with the next show that we have coming up, I don't know if we have another show following us, but to get on Free Speech, Free Stupidity, you actually have to earn the right to do that. There's going to be another. There's always a challenge to who's got the fake story, who's got the article that's not real, whatever. If you, the viewer, can catch it, you can come on to Free Speech, Free Stupidity. Second Amendment Ranch, we welcome everybody, but we've turned Free Speech, Free Stupidity into a game.
That's right.
So hang out, check us out. In about 26 more minutes, we're going to be going live again, same place, talking about shit that's going to make you giggle.
I know, and Rex won it last week.
Rex won it last week. He won it the week before.
Got to give him applause.
So Rex, you'll be invited. He can't make tonight, but he's invited next week to continue to hold his title.
Oh,
That's the thing. If you earn the right to be on the show, if you win, you have to keep holding your title to stay on the show. And so far, Rex is kicking everybody's ass.
He's got good stories as being a police officer for 30-some years.
True. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we have to wrap up the show because we still have to prepare for the next show. And I've only got a bottle of wine and 2 beers left. So we'll see how bad Cameron gets tonight. Because I think it's going to be one of those weird ones. So stick around, hang out, go to the bathroom, get your popcorn, go rub one out real quick. Do whatever you need to do to get the stress of the second minute out of you. Because the next show is nothing like this show. It's not.
No.
But for now, that's all for this show. So we look forward to seeing you next week, same time, same place, right here on the Bill of Rights Network. As always, I'm Cameron.
And I'm Carl.
And this is the Second Amendment Ranch. Y'all